carrots, fake fruit, fake grapefruits, fake liar, you liar.
Oh, you know we're being shadow banned, folks. They want to silence all of us. I've had it. I hope you're ready to go on this whacked out Wednesday. They're all liars, in my opinion. Every last one of these government people are liars, these fucking scientists, these big businessmen, everyone, historians, professors, teachers, lawyers, judges. We're going to talk about all of it. It is a whacked out Wednesday. And I accidentally fell down a rabbit hole today. It happens.
You accidentally put me on too today?
It happens. Hello, man. How are you enjoying the South, man?
Oh, it's beautiful, except for the cold weather.
Wait a moment. Did you say cold weather?
Yeah, it's been a little chilly down here.
Oh, I don't know where you're at, but I've been wearing shorts all week. So I must be in the banana belt of the banana belt or something.
My trailer's facing north, so I'm on the shady side. On the sunny side, it's pretty nice, but on the shady side, with the wind, it's a little cool, and we got some clouds rolling in again. So
you're on the shady side of South. Nice. Did you bring some Illinois with you?
Yeah, I did.
Nice work. All right, man. I just wanted everyone to see the blue wrench there, and remember to surrender the booty. Right. It's time to start slitting some throats, in my opinion. Okay, I've got a lot of great topics, folks. Uman's in the house. I'm in the house. I'm going to take over. Thank you, Oliver. Okay. Whacked out Wednesday. I accidentally started thinking, and that can cause trouble. And I thought, man, we have been covering so much shit. It's the fan. So much whacked out. Why are they doing this stuff? I just thought I'm going to spend just a few minutes and write down what's happening, because it's not making a lick of fucking sense when you add it all together. This is not an exhausted list of the divorce from reality. This is what I jotted down while I was sitting on the toilet and I had a few minutes, to think. So let's just start with this. Everything being done, said, executed is to destroy us, our country, our culture, our traditions, our laws, everything. We are being divorced from reality. I'm going to go down the list. Presidents can be removed from the ballot because of someone's political objection. History, you can just rewrite it anytime you want. Monuments, statues can be removed because gay people don't like it. The military is being destroyed so they can replace it with an AI automated military. Wrong is right, and morality is illegal. All that you believe isn't true. What you see doesn't exist. The world is being reset, folks. A great reset. This is the great reset. They're even telling us you will own nothing and be happy. You will eat bugs and not argue about it. White people are evil. Civilization is evil. Muhammadism is friendly. Immigrants come first. Veterans are disposable. We can't go to the moon today, but we did 55 years ago with an aluminum foil can, which housed a rocket that produced 10,000 pounds of thrust, but didn't tear it to pieces. Gold isn't money. Electronic coins you can't see, touch, or use, that's valuable. Taping a banana to a wall with duct tape is art. Having sex with children is normal and is healthy for kids, but parents are domestic terrorists for protecting their children. Science obeys after observing political agenda. And it'll change from time to time upon the whim of children like Greta Grinch or a billionaire who needs to make new money. There were no humans around to cause the ice ages, but climate change today, that's definitely our fault, even though it's nowhere near as dramatic as an ice age that covered the world in a sheet of ice. Must I continue? Well, I could, but we've got a lot more things to go over. Folks, it's incredible. All the things we talk about, which are completely senseless, but they're being shoved down our throats. Like the cold is out there, cough, cold. So everyone lock down, sit in your homes and let us tell you how everyone's dying and believe it. And the world did. The mainstream media asked the question, can the U.S. Navy handle dealing with Yemen, a war with Yemen? Yemen. Do you know where Yemen is on a map, folks? I think it's over by Somalia. I think it's in northeastern Africa. Yemen. I remember hearing about Yemen when I studied the Roman Empire. No, I didn't. I never heard of fucking Yemen until, 20 years ago. How many smart missiles would it take to erase Yemen's executive, legislative, judicial, and military buildings? Right? Fuck Joe Biden anyways on that one. Yemen, really? We're supposed to be afraid of Yemen now? Divorced from reality, folks. Egypt, the country of Egypt. Last time I looked, it's a fucking pile of sand. Sand. Somehow they managed to build a wall to keep out Palestinians. Egypt, a Muslim nation, has completed a barrier wall to keep illegals from coming over, around, or through. I thought walls were racist. I thought walls were bad. I thought unhindered migration was a human right according to these wackos who are divorced from reality. Where the fuck is AOC when it comes to Egypt's wall? Where is Rashid Tlaib when it comes to this wall? Where is Ilspam Homar concerning this wall in Egypt? Where is DC's Jihad Squad? Where are the protesters in Egypt to protest this wall? Where? Once again, folks, divorce from reality. Walls are only illegal, unconstitutional, unethical, immoral, evil in America, in the United States of America. Get your questions down below. We're going down the fucking rabbit hole. Here we are. The year is 2024. Hitler was defeated, folks, 80 years ago. Communism failed back in the early 90s. The Russian Communist Empire, the Soviet Union, failed. The world is supposed to love democracy. We hear about it all the fucking time from Joe Biden, Hillary Clinton, Obama. Democracy, democracy. Democracy means the people being able to vote for a candidate, right? Now, in Brazil, they had a convicted felon who is a communist, was put on the ballot, and somehow they magically elected a communist convicted felon. But in America, in Colorado, they said President Trump cannot be on the ballot. He has not been charged with insurrection. He has not been charged with a crime in Washington, D.C., yet they're using that as an excuse to pull him off the fucking ballot. And where, my friends? Where is Germany? Where is England? Where is France? How about Switzerland? Fucking Sweden. The Italians. Japan. Australia. Canada. Where the fuck are they? They haven't said a word. It is, folks, from El Salvador. It is El Salvador's president. He's the first fucking country to stand up and go, hey, you're removing the leading opposition leader from the ballot. This is wrong. Wow. El Salvador's president sees how undemocratic, unlawful, and un-American this move by Joe Biden's judges is. Be fucking fearful, folks. And I'll say this, judges, be fearful, for I will judge thee as men. I don't give a shit about your souls. That's not my business. As human beings walking around on two legs, I will judge you guys quick. It's coming, folks. I think it's coming pretty quick. I'm starting to really get pissed off. Now, am I pissed off, or is this theatrics? Is this entertainment? Is this fact? Is this truth? Or is this lies? Who are the fucking liars on this planet? Now, everything I've talked about for the last 12 minutes. Am I wrong? Did I grossly exaggerate? Did I lie? Or is it the president, Joe Biden, and the governments and corporations and lawyers and bankers? Are they the fucking liars? Literally, what I talked about, every last one of those things is happening. It's happening right now. Oh, we're going to talk about it, folks. Wow, it's happening. Let's do it. This fucking New York Times writer, folks, says Americans who oppose the Colorado Supreme Court ruling that Trump can't be on the ballot. If you support Trump and oppose that ruling, you folks support the Confederates. Now, last time I fucking looked, the Confederates were defeated by the Northern Army back in the 1860s, over 150 fucking years ago, but we're supporting them right now. I love it. The opposing tyranny in Washington, D.C., New York, and every big city that's run by these Democrat fucking scumbags, every one of these folks, they've lost it. The opposing tyranny now results in the slanderous label of being a Confederate if they don't like you. They oppose us. They're tyrannical. But this is where we're at, right? I would rather be a Confederate American, even though they don't exist, than a counterfeit like the Democrats and Rhino Republicans who are killing the Republic. Literally fucking killing the Republic. Calling us Confederates. There is no Confederacy. They even took away all the Confederate flags. They're destroying the Confederate history, and I'll talk more about that in a fucking second. Folks, the fight is coming. And the fight is about information, which will be followed by a fight socially. And we're in it. But it's going to be followed by a fight, a legal lawfare fight. We're seeing that with Trump in courts now. That is going to be followed by partisan conflict, which we're starting to see the beginnings of. And ultimately, we will be in a civil war because of what these fucking people are doing. They are going so far above and beyond any imaginable measure of insanity. It's not me. I'm a very sane human being. I'm not the one running around saying it's okay to kill babies or have sex with children or separate parents from their kids. I'm not the one running around teaching alternate versions of history and reality to replace current versions of history and reality. I'm not taking the most civilized and intelligent forms of government, culture, and tradition and turning them on their head. And then calling, right, the replacement system good and saying white people are bad. It's out of control at this point. It truly is, folks. Now, the Biden regime is removing the Confederate Reconciliation Memorial. The Biden gay regime. Remember, this son of a bitch hung rainbow flags on the White House. Okay, they're removing this at the Arlington War Cemetery, right? Now, it is a Trump-appointed judge, folks, who did a stay on that and then opened it back up and cleared the way. They've now removed the memorial statue. And the same judge who was appointed by Trump decides to take a cheap shot. Right? This is amazing. Let me help you. Judge Alston is his name. He takes a shot at the statue. He takes a shot at history. He takes a shot at America. Alston said the memorial depicts offensive items, such as, quote, a slave running after his Mazda while he walks down the road. The judge asked this question, what is reconciling about that? Well, to me, this judge, I believe a black man, he is uncomfortable with the past, which is history, which is reality, which is fact. He's uncomfortable with the past, and he projects his interpretation, his insecurities, and his weakness on a statue. Because there's a black person in it, and they're not riding on the fucking horse. When I see depictions of Vikings or Celts or whites in art, statue, in media that are demonstrably weak, when I see weak white people, I don't take their weakness as my weakness and start wearing it like a cloak and become the thing that's presented in the art. I see it for what it is. It's a piece of history. Like, for example, if I see a portrait of Napoleon Bonaparte, do I feel oppressed because he was the emperor of France and he was very short? No, why the fuck should I give a fuck? It's a piece of history. When I see the Arlington Memorial Reconciliation statue and I see black people portrayed in the art, I go, man, that must have been a scene that someone imagined or duplicated. And it's reflecting a reality or someone's vision of a reality at the time. I don't expect to see at the Arlington Civil War reconciliation the image of George Floyd in a convertible fucking Cadillac flipping off Mazda as he drives off the plantation. That did not happen. They did not have that technology. They didn't have mass fucking transit at the time everywhere in the South. See what I'm saying? Look at how callous, weak, and immature this judge is. Once again, be wary, judges, because I too am a judge of men and character. Folks, shit has hit the fan. Am I fucking hitting it? Did I miss something? Mr. Uman. Mr. Uman.
Yes, sir.
Have I lied about a whole lot of stuff here? Am I making shit up and pulling it out my ass?
No. Is that the right answer?
I'm glad you thought about it. Because if you just said, nah, you know, I'm just fucking, I got home, climbed down into the bunker and started thinking, man, I'm like, there is an incredible amount of shit going on.
Yes, there
It's
is.
unfucking believable. Like this. Right. Are you ready, Uman? Because I would like your opinion. Maybe
Absolutely.
I'm wrong. John Kirby, lying sack of shit mouthpiece of the Biden administration. Did I just prejudice the way people should think about him by saying those?
That was not very impartial of you, but
Yeah, it's not impartial at all. This son of a bitch, John Kirby, denies that Joe Biden and his military under Lloyd the Loser Austin, once again, I have slandered him. No, it's true. He is a fucking loser. This guy, he's denying. John Kirby denies that Biden and his government left United States military weapons, materials, supplies, and bases in Afghanistan. And he says, saying so, making that accusation is a fallacy and a farce.
Unfortunately, most people have the memory of a gnat and aren't going to remember that. And it was in every major headline across MSM at the time.
Well, I tell you what, maybe John Kirby's right. Maybe he didn't leave the $85 billion in weapons, equipment, and supplies in Afghanistan. Maybe he sold them and took a 10% commission because he's the big guy. Maybe that's what happened.
Or maybe he gifted them.
He gifted it to them for commission because he gets his 10%.
Well,
so he didn't leave it. He sold it.
Yep.
I mean, what fucking planet did I wake up on?
I don't know. I ask myself that question regularly.
Regularly. Unfucking believable. All right, man. I'll let you go back to scratching your head in private. Folks, unfucking believable. Really unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Where are we at? 22 minutes. I wanted to run through this because I didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to spend time visiting every one of these topics and go, there's hundreds more. President Trump, while campaigning, has pledged to end the war on Christians. Wait a minute. I thought we were committing genocide against Palestinians. And I thought it was the gays and transgenders that are having genocide. It's actually on Christians. Folks, we're in a spiritual and philosophical war. We're in an information war. I described the series of wars that we're going to go through until we finally get to the Civil War, a Revolutionary War. I'm going to call it something like it is going to be a war, a fight for our very survival as an intelligent species. What do you guys think? Do you have topics? What have you heard that is so unbelievable? You're like, how the fuck can this be? Right. Years ago, when I first saw the first evidence of altered or manufactured evidence to prove we went to the moon. Hey, maybe we went to the moon, but they just showed us fake footage because they didn't want to show us the real moon. At this stage, we may as well believe the moon is made of cheese. Based on all the other lies and horse shit, why not? Why don't we use that as an excuse to fund the space program to go harvest and mine cheese off the moon? It's probably damn good cheese. Anyways, topics. What has happened out there that you've gone like, you know what, that's enough of this shit? I want to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. I want to know what you're thinking. It is a fucking whacked out Wednesday. It's just the brazen in your face lies and corruption is just going off the hook. Off the hook. Anyways, where are we at? We're at 25 minutes. Good golly, I tell you what. Let's do it early. Let's go the other way. Let's go early into the inner circle. You guys, it's your turn. Okay, well, before we put any questions up, California's Democrat lieutenant governor. Oh, remember that Camel Toes Harris, old leather knees herself, was the Secretary of State. No, she was the Attorney General in California. Somehow this crazy, batshit crazy lady who can't put two sentences together without tossing it in the air and creating a word salad. She was an attorney. She was the attorney general in California. Anyways, they're going to try in California to remove President Trump from the ballot as well. Now, what's interesting is they're doing this in states, folks, in states that are Democrat states. That's how they have the Supreme Court. That's how they have the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general. These fucking blue states like California, Illinois, Colorado. You know why they're doing this, don't you? So they can go, oh, well, we thought he was off the ballot. We put him back on the ballot. We took him off. We don't fucking know. It's, by the way, that's going to the Supreme Court immediately. All of a sudden, the Supreme Court has time to take up everyone who wants to expedite a court case. It used to be you would send in your writ of certiorari, which is a piece of paper asking the Supreme Court to take a look at your argument and please rule on it. And they would take their time answering whether or not they even gave a shit. And then they would have their clerks do all kinds of research, look up case law. And if you're doing the writ and you put your case in, you would cite all kinds of things also, hoping the Supreme Court would see things your way. And then weeks, months later, the court would rule on it. Today, we can get shit done fucking lickety split, right? No problem. We'll have that out for you, no problem. I don't get it. Why did it take the fucking Supreme Court 50 fucking years to figure out that abortion is a states' right issue and that there's nothing about abortion in the Constitution other than the acknowledgement that the people have rights. And if you're alive, you have rights. I don't see how they can't just take the next step and go, well, a baby has a heart, a brain. They're developing a body. They just happen to be inside the mother. Fucking unbelievable. Oh, yeah. Well, we're talking about the fucking Supreme Court. Ketanji Brown Jackson, Supreme Court judge. Idiot. She has a vagina, I think. But she can't define what a woman is. So Trump's going to end the war, folks, on Christians. It's a spiritual and philosophical war. They want to get him off of the ballot. You know why? Because if, say, California can get him off the ballot and it stays off, what if the Supreme Court says, you know what, we ain't touching this one? Kind of like they didn't want to touch Obamacare. Oh, that's a tax. Nowhere in the fucking legislation does it call it a tax. They got a penalty if you don't obey them. Fucking lying sacks of shit. Fuck you, John Roberts, you cocksucker. I've had it with these people, folks. I am not threatening violence or anything illegal, unlawful, dangerous, nor recommending it to anyone else. But these people, I'm going to sit in judgment of them. Right? My job as a United States Marine was to keep heaven packed with fresh souls. Right? This phrase, the military phrase, kill them all, let God sort them out. There's a historical precedence for doing just that. Hey, if you're good, I just got you to heaven earlier. If you're bad, well, you had your chance to make that right and you didn't. Okay. Yeah, it's fine if the government says go that way and start killing everyone you see. Here's a gun, here's a tank, here's a drone. Go that direction and just start killing everything you fucking see. But if you, as a human being, decide there's bad people out there that need to be greased, waxed, you're not allowed to make that decision. No. Only the brilliant people like Camel Toes Harris or Joe Biden can make those kind of decisions. Isn't that incredible? These fucking people that have the IQs of a damn sponge. Only they can say it's time to start killing people. Think about it. Who's more qualified, in your opinion? You or some elected politician? Who's more qualified to determine what is right or wrong? You, who works really hard, or a politician who sticks his hand out and gets paid by others? Right? Gets paid to make decisions one way or the other based on how much money they give them. Who is a better moral judge? Folks, shit has hit the fan. It's going to get worse. You're going to be asking that question every day when shit goes haywire. Remember 2020, the summer of love, when some fucking newsman looked at a guy standing in front of a conflagration, a raging, roiling, burning inferno, and told us it was mostly peaceful protesting. Whacked Out Wednesday? I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, Mr. Who-Man. I got kind of passionate again about that. All right, let's try this again. Let's do the inner circle. It is your turn. Ask questions, comments. What is so far out that it makes no sense? Mr. Who-Man, let's do it. We got Mikey G. And he says, ask Willie Brown, who was mayor of San Francisco. Ask Willie Brown about Kamala's qualifications. Folks, if you haven't paid attention and aren't aware, Kamala Harris loved to give fellatio, oral sex to Willie Brown while he was in office, I believe. While he was in his office, I believe. I've been led. Allegedly, Camel Toes Harris, while married, was promoted. Those are her qualifications. Have you ever heard her talk? Have you listened to the wit and wisdom of Camel Toes Harris? She is a raging idiot. And when she starts talking about mature topics that require a sober and intelligent mind, she starts cackling and laughing. Camel Toes Harris, Vice President of the United States, was appointed by the president to handle the border crisis along the southern U.S. border. And it was years before anyone even asked her, why haven't you gone there? I don't even think she has gone there at all. And we have a crisis there. Millions of people have flooded across the border, and millions more are on their way. And a campaign advisor, a Biden staffer, is concerned that America is going to blame Biden for what is happening on the southern border. You know how to solve the problem? You do what Egypt did, and you build the fucking wall, and you don't let anyone in. And if millions of people show up in northern Mexico staring at this wall, how stupid are they? They expect us to let them in so they can destroy our country? If 1 million rats were running down your street, would you let them in their house just so they have a place to go? Would that be the humane thing to do? Or would you keep your door barred so that they can't get in your house and eat your house from the basement to the top of the roof? Mikey G says, John Roberts, another frequent flyer on the Lolita Express. Chief Justice John Roberts of the United States Supreme Court, the man who said Obamacare, which was thousands of pages of legislation that we were told we could not read or see by Nancy Pelosi until they voted on it and it passed. John Roberts decided to take that and say it was not the unconstitutional sack of shit that it was. That it wasn't telling Americans what they had to do. That the government wasn't mandating anything. It was telling you that you could do something and get a tax break. So they passed a tax called Obamacare, access to health care. a human right was actually a tax. That's what Chief Justice John fucking Roberts tried making us choke down. He did make us choke it down. He apparently, allegedly, was a frequent flyer on the Lolita Express. Now, when we examine the information, what is more likely? An intelligent man who went to college, got his Juris Doctorate, his JD, right? The degree that says you are a student of law and you have mastered the skills and knowledge required to be an attorney. Then he took the bar exam, became an attorney that could practice, went to work for law firms, worked his way up, and was an intelligent lawyer who was so astute, so brilliant that he was considered for the Supreme Court and he was put on it. And then Justice John Roberts, right? All of a sudden, he took his brain out from between his ears and shoved it in his own anus and decided to quit using it. How could that have happened unless someone said, "We own you," and they grabbed him not by his anus, but by his ball sack and said, "Look at these pictures we got of you after you flew on the Lolita Express to Little St. James Island, owned by Jeffrey Epstein, a convicted pedophile." And you did what on that island? That's right. We own you is what they said. And you will come up with a way, however handy, however creative, at the Supreme Court level to justify the United States government demanding that people pay into an insurance scheme that provides shitty health insurance at double, triple, quadruple the cost. Now that everyone's paying into it, all of a sudden you get fewer benefits. Whereas before, very few people paid for insurance. And insurance companies had to compete for business. Now they don't have to fucking compete. And so prices doubled and tripled and quadrupled just in a matter of a few years. And it was a tax. It was not healthcare. Fuck these people. See what I'm talking about? Thank you, Mikey G, for bringing that up. We're in a philosophical war. We're in a spiritual war. We're in a war against people who are intellectual vagrants. They are massive liars, which is why I chose for today's introduction and disclaimer to show Biden as the liar he is. I want to thank Mr. T for sending me a song today. It was written in the 80s that is describing perfectly in popular music, pop culture, pop music, what is happening today with the lies. All righty, let's do it. Uman, Mr. Uman. He says, this is Mr. Uman's opinion. He said, interesting thing about Colorado is that if you read to page 8 of the order, point of order by Uman, the court immediately stayed the decision until the day before the deadline. If challenged at the Supreme Court of the United States, it supposedly drops. If it is challenged at the Supreme Court of the United States, Trump goes on the ballot. If not challenged, it will go into effect. It is phrased to try and stir things up and get someone to do something stupid. In other words, they passed a law. They made a ruling. Okay, so Colorado passes a law, comes up with some horse shit to disqualify Trump. And then within the ruling, buried on page 8, they say, well, this ruling, it doesn't go into effect unless somebody pretends it didn't happen and ignores it. But if somebody objects to it at the Supreme Court, then it doesn't matter anymore. Yeah. What kind of chicken shit stuff is that? If anyone challenges the rule, we didn't really do it, is what they're saying. We didn't make this decision in court at the Supreme Court level of Colorado. We didn't really do it unless nobody objects to it. It'd be like me walking into a bank and handing them a note that says, in 10 days, you have to give me all of your fucking money. In 10 days, you've got to give me all of your fucking money. And it's okay because I said so. But if anyone objects to me demanding the money in 10 days, then I never gave you this note and it's not a crime. That's not robbery. So the bank looks at the note and it goes, we're not giving you any fucking money. Call the police. And they're like, see, it just fell off because they challenged it, right? Isn't that fucking stupid? Now, Uman is saying they're trying to stir things up. They're trying to get someone to do something stupid. Every one of these topics that we have brought up today, specifically today, but going back in history, every one of these things they do is designed to fuck with us in the head, to piss us off, to push us around, to make us accept lies, half-truths, no truths, to make us swallow our pride, to make us accept indignity, to fucking coerce us, to give our own money up. We have to agree to destroy our own country. Oh, I tell you, I really do. Chin Music. I'm going to be watching the SHTF No Days Off video after I'm done here, and then I'm going to go make some dinner. Fuck. It's coming, folks. It's coming. It's coming. James Nicholson steps up. James is a black lab. And he says, evening all. Hey, John. I fear that soon the only justice will be a form of constitutional vigilante justice. Now, that sort of justice will be applied at a local level. The Declaration of Independence, folks. Read it. It was written by intelligent, sober men who had a philosophical understanding of the nature of universe and nature's or God's law, that men are endowed with inalienable rights. And it is through their actions that governments can be formed. And now we're seeing that through government action, reality is being dismantled and destroyed. So they're cautioned, or we are cautioned by the Declaration of Independence, that when a government begins to abuse its people, it is the right and duty of the people to put aside that government, that is, dissolve it, and replace it with future guards against its iniquities, its failures, its violations of our trust. Now, the thing is, before the Declaration of Independence came out, there was, as you suggest, a form of constitutional vigilante justice. And it was not against a criminal looking for justice. It was against government action, that local bands of free men said, enough of this fucking shit. It was much more basic than what we're dealing with now. They didn't tell the American colonists that the King of England was God and tell them that they had to believe and worship. They didn't tell them that they had to give their children to the king so that he could sexually abuse them and that they had to like it. They didn't go off the fucking rails the way they are today. No, it was much more simple. The redcoats, the English governors in charge of the American colonies, they decided they would tax the shit out of people to the point where they couldn't take care of themselves, couldn't subsist. They destroyed crops. They burned businesses. It was much more direct. And they wanted to rape women and take the men's guns from them so that savages could attack them. These same savages who were paid by the British, by the way. Paid by the British to attack the colonists. How the fuck do you like that? Now, let me continue. They wanted to take their guns so they couldn't defend themselves from any attack. What are we dealing with today, folks? The government wants to take your guns so you cannot defend yourself from it or an invading force that is being paid to screw us over. Who is being led into this country and paid? Terrorists who are being paid, and they hate us, and they would love to take advantage of the fact if we were unarmed. What are they doing to children today, folks? They're intellectually raping them. They're taking reality away from them and substituting a fake one. And it is sexual in nature. Oh, you've got a penis. Well, that makes you a girl. Just, it is incredible. They're doing the same things, only in a much more perverted sense. At some point, James, justice will be meted out. And ultimately, I think the entire country will follow. But it'll be local, the same way Lexington and Concord were local events where the people said, that's enough of this shit. And their personal constitutions, not the U.S. Constitution, not a state constitution, their personal constitution, which is a set of moral rules, obligations, duties, and rights that we understand as individual men and we hold collectively. That is the nature of the constitutional justice that will be condemned by the government as vigilante or terrorist. Who is terrorizing who in this fucking country? Ask yourself that. Thank you, James, for giving me a fodder through which I could share my philosophy. Shall we continue? Mr. Uman, what do we got? We got Charles Gentry. Charles Gentry. One moment, whilst I send a query to Uman. Charles says, have you heard about Vet Kami giving Chai Kami the finger and siding with the United States and Japan? Turns out Vietnam has damn near as much rare earths as China. Well, Vet Kami giving Chai Kami the finger and siding with the U.S. and Japan. Turns out Vietnam has damn near as much rare earth. Well, I'll tell you what. One moment. Vietnam. What if China took Taiwan, folks, and said, hey, Taiwan, that's always been part of China. What if China says, hey, we're going to take over Vietnam? Could China's version of the Central Intelligence Agency, the CIA, could they pull off a coup d'etat the way American governments do? By American governments, I mean all of the different presidential administrations under which and through which the CIA committed actions designed to topple and overthrow legitimate governments and replace it with one that is more U.S. commercial friendly. China could do that. And so Vet Kami, Vietnam, if it decides to side with the United States and Japan, and it does that, it's because they're bought off. Do they like China? Should they go with China? I don't think so. It's a corrupt government as well. All the governments are corrupt. So the decision made, if it's one that is voluntary, is going to be because the people who are running Vietnam got a better offer out of the US and Japan. Now, understanding this, if Vietnam has a lot of rare earth, well, good for Vietnam. There is also rare earth being discovered other places because the world has realized that China getting the rare earth materials is not so good for them to have kind of a monopoly over it. By the way, there are, I think, thousands and thousands or hundreds of thousands of acres that have been purchased by an American corporation through a deal and an agreement with Brazil, and it is chock full of rare earths. So it is not, it's rare, right? And it's being sought after everywhere. But we are right now in a battle, if you will. It's a corporate battle. It's a mining or resource battle around the world. So I mean, what's important? To control a company, control a region, a business, or to control an entire country? How do you get control of a country? Well, the US, through the CIA, has used a method of installing their own government and then making the people agree that it's a good move. China has taken a different form, and that is they have been very nice and friendly with countries in South America, Africa, and elsewhere, making deals with them that everyone agrees to, and it's making everyone happy, right? In other words, it sounds more like they're sharing the wealth instead of asking small African children to go out with shovels and pickaxes in the mud and the rain and looking for minerals that are difficult to find. Look into what's going on still in Africa. The entire game, folks, is a sick fucking game. It truly is. I hope that America finds its way enough to elect someone with the balls that Javier Milei of Argentina has. And that's to get elected into office and actually do shit that pisses off the deep state and the bankers and the Illuminati. Then again, even that might be a sham. We'll get into that more later as future plays out. As far as I'm concerned, everything is a scam, and you have to be very careful of it when it comes to government. It would seem to me that a banking cartel could turn austerity in Argentina to its favor to enrich itself, because apparently they're going to tax the people in Argentina so hard and give them so few benefits that they can pay the banks back all that is due them. Look out, folks. Understand, we could be getting tricked left and right. Mr. Uman, let's do it again. What else have we got? We got David Hastings. He says, John, do you think the 14th Amendment sections 3 and 4 accord to Obama and Sleepy Joe? I don't like the 14th Amendment at all. I think everything after the 10th Amendment sucks. I really do. Are they useful? Does it help spell things out? Does it apply? Should it be applied to Obama and Joe? But even before you get to the 14th Amendment, back in the basic body of the Constitution, the president is supposed, folks, to be born in this country. Obama doesn't even qualify to be questioned by the 14th Amendment or under the 14th Amendment because he's not a United States natural born citizen. Should have never been the president. And Joe is a fucking criminal who is admitted prior, while as vice president, to a form of bribery or graft or extortion, if you will, over another country. He should have been disqualified as a president based on his criminal history. And if not, instantly impeached for it. And so the 14th Amendment wouldn't even need to be applied. But I see what you're saying. And I think that any any form of accountability that can be applied to politicians should be applied. Thank you, Mr. Hastings, for that. Let's do it again. We got another. This has been one hell of a whacked out Wednesday. Charles Gentry says, China tried to offer a railroad to Vietnam, but still pay crap. Japan offered to restart mining in Vietnam and shipping. The United States offered to start refining and paying more. Japan makes chips and other goodies, all in Vietnam. So what Charles is saying is China did not make the best offer. Now, let me ask you this. Let's just say the United States government, the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, all decide that they've changed their mind in Vietnam and that they want to demand that Vietnam buy U.S. treasuries and take that, bonds. In other words, give their money to the United States government to support the government of the United States so that it can continue to trade with Vietnam. Let's suppose that the United States forced not just Vietnam, but other countries to use the dollar exclusively. That is to say, not accept gold or Chinese yuan or Russian rubles or the denarii or anything else, right? No gold dinars out of the Middle East. And it did. It tried doing it. It tried making a sweetheart deal. So the United States took all of the money it had in holdings and said, okay, all those treasuries you bought, you are now surrendering. You will not get to get them back. You lose them forever. You forfeit them. Fuck you, we're taking your money. That's exactly what the United States government did to the country of Russia just a couple of years ago as punishment, trying to hurt Russia because Russia didn't want to play the game anymore. They killed Muammar Gaddafi for trying to make Europe pay him in gold for oil. They took out Saddam Hussein for taking gold, or no, taking euros for oil. You see, once you get in bed with a large, monolithic, how do we say this properly? Bully like the United States government, it makes a nice sweetheart deal. And then a few years later, it demands something more. And then it demands something more again. And then it keeps demanding. And then if you don't obey, it punishes the fuck out of you. Right, John Roberts? It made you a sweetheart of a deal. You get to be a Supreme Court justice. Oh, but don't worry. At some point, we're going to call in a favor and then use your sexual proclivities as leverage. Folks, understand this. Everyone who's in that black book, Jeffrey Epstein, Jizzy Maxwell's black book, everyone that is in that is biting their fucking fingernails all the way to the bone. They are shitting their pants on a daily basis. They think they have Crohn's disease. They are stressed out so bad that they're eating antidepressants like fucking mints, like candy corn, like Skittles, like M&Ms on a daily basis, because they have decided, well, we've now killed Jeffrey Epstein, and we, the United States government, have a black book, and you will play by their rules and what they say, or you could be one of those 100 that is outed. That's right, folks. In the next 2 weeks, somewhere over 100 people are going to be exposed. You know what that's going to tell the others that weren't exposed? You better fucking play along or it's your ass. They'll say, hey, you're the one that did it. The same way they got Jared, the fucking submarine sandwich guy. and every other one of these perverts that they decided to hang out to dry. Denny Hastert, you think he was the only pervert in Washington, D.C.? Oh, folks, it's a fucked up mess. And they will lie, cheat, and steal. They can even manufacture evidence about anyone, even if it's not true. Jamie Dimon was buddies with Epstein. Oh, nope, that disappeared as a story. No, we can't have that. I guess someone played along, didn't he? That's the world we're in, folks. We're now in that room. We're in that room. Chance favors the prepared mind, folks. This has been one hell of a whacked out Wednesday. Are you prepared? Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense. Wake up. It's coming. Semper Fi, Godspeed.